Hi guys, so it's me, Nicolette. Sorry I've been MIA, but I'm back. So anyway, today I sat with one of the financial institutions because I'd like to do some content with them, and we were kind of brainstorming ideas as to what type of content we need to give to people so that financial education becomes ingrained in their mind, and it's something that people are cognizant of every single day. It's up in their subconscious mind. So when you make decisions about your finances, you literally have Nicolette's voice literally in the back of your head saying, don't do that, this is not the right way to do it. And I realized something, and we were speaking about it, and somebody said, despite the amount of resources that, let's say, soccer players get, they get financial advisors brought to them, they get financial coaches, financial management, people will still do what people want to do with their money because at the end of the day, it's their money, right? Okay, sharp. Then I realized, maybe the issue is not the fact that people don't have the information. Okay, we're not talking about technical stuff. Obviously, there are some stuff that people do not have, and we still need to go out there and give them. But we're talking about the fundamental idea that the relationship that you have with money can either be a catalyst in your life. You know what a catalyst is? Remember when in science, when you're doing experiments, they'll be say to you H2O or O2 or Z2, whatever. I don't remember the pyramid table. They'll say that is like a catalyst so that this can happen. So basically, it's something that you put in that makes something else happen. So the relationship that you've got with money can either catalyst your life to financial success and financial freedom, or it can become a stumbling block. Why do I say this? Let me tell you guys a story. I used to have this friend when I was still working, and this is back in the days when I used to drive my car, Kidiboni. If you don't know Kidiboni, please go back to some of my old videos to get an understanding of who Kidiboni was. It was my Polo that I was driving at that time, a very old one, sitting at like 300,000 Ks. It was a very old car. It had gone, I literally probably was the fourth or fifth driver of that car, and that car's name was Kidiboni basically because it had seen everything. Basically, right? Okay, so sharp. So it was a time when I used to drive Kidiboni, and then I got to a point where emotionally I had to part with Kidiboni because Kidiboni was giving me a whole lot of problems. So I went looking for a car. So I went shopping for a car, and one of the days that I went shopping for a car, I went with this friend of mine. So we walk into this dealership, we sit down, and I find the car that I fall in love with, and this is the car that I want. So while we're sitting there and they're telling me about the prices, how it's gonna work, this friend of mine is sitting right next to me, right? Then she says to the sales guy, when I finish concluding my sales, do you think I can also get a new car? I turn around and I look at her and I'm like, you just bought your car. You don't need a new car. And she's like, no, I do need a new car. My car is old. It's doing 1, 2, 3, 4. And literally what I was finding is that she was finding reasons as to why she needed a new car. She was literally sitting there motivating, not to me, but to herself as to why she needed a new car. But what she wasn't dealing with was the fact that she didn't need a new car. She needed a new car because I was buying a new car. So the dealership guy, the sales guy was like, okay, give me your stuff. Let's see what we can do. The guy gave her, she gave him her stuff, and then we left. And I think over this period that we were driving back to the office, this guy kind of went into her finances, her credit report, and realized that actually this dear friend of mine cannot afford a new car. He calls her and he tells her, look, you can't afford a new car. But as we know, dealership guys and salespeople, they don't give up, right? So they will find a way for you to afford the car. So he says to her, you just need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, pay off this debt, clear your name here, get it paid up later here, and you will get a new car. I don't think I'd ever seen my friend so dedicated to getting this car. She did not need the car. And that is a fact of life. But because I was getting a new car, she felt she needed a new car. And, another friend of ours who was a third party said to me, this girl, you guys are the same age. You guys are practically almost in the same job. So you guys' journey have been very parallel. So it wouldn't make sense to her, perhaps, that if you are advancing in life, she also needs to advance in life. And that's natural, right? That's natural flaws that we've got as human beings. We are very, very jealous people. We want to keep up with people that we assume are in our league, right? I know this for a fact because I'm a middle child, and I'm a jealous child. Like, if things happen for my older sister or my younger sister, and it's not even things that I like, I'm jealous. And I also find myself, and this is a confession, guys, that sometimes, even with people that I know, when things happen for them, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm sure I can do it better than that. But and yes, maybe I need to deal with it, but I think it is a human flaw. And if you're going to be another person that sits there and judges me for this, oh, well, whatever. Up yours. All right. So anyway, this friend, this third party friend, was telling me that you know that this friend of yours is literally trying to either be like you or trying to keep up with you. And I started trying to like observe this person's, ways of doing things after that incident of the car. And I got to a point where the one day we walked into one of the banks, and while we're sitting at the bank, the teller says to me, listen, we can actually upgrade you to the next card. Would you like the next card? And this friend of mine jumped and she was like, actually, do you think I can also get upgraded? What are the criteria for getting upgraded? And then I realized something. And the only reason why I realized this in my friend was because I was exactly the same way. Sometimes we find ourselves in life trying to compete with people, maybe unconsciously, because it's ingrained in us that if you get to a certain age, you need to have a certain things. And if somebody else that looks like you, sounds like you, can get them, it means that you can get them too. And we teach this lesson. We say it's not impossible. If so-and-so can get it, it means that you can get it. But what we don't teach people is that it doesn't all come at the same time. And this for me is the relationship that we've got with money, is that we need to learn that not all things for everybody is going to come at the same time, right? And it's a very important lesson, because if you don't learn it from a young age, or you don't learn it as soon as possible, especially if you're working, if you just start a new job, you got friends that have graduated, you're all working, everybody's doing their own thing, but not everybody's not really doing their own thing. While we're doing your own thing, you're also trying to like keep up with the Joneses, kind of look at what's Banbani, Umbaliso Tengeni, what has Josephine achieved so far. You need to remember that when it comes to financial things, you need to stick with your lane, and you need to stick with what you are doing, and you need to hone your relationship with your money. Because at the end of the day, what Umbali is doing is not necessarily what I want to do. Yes, we may have the same aspirations. Yes, we may have the same type of ideal when it comes to quality of life. But the car that Umbali is driving, I might never be able to afford to drive, because I've got my own shit. You know what I mean? I've got my own financial goals. And this usually happens when you've got this relationship with money where you're trying to keep up with what the Joneses are doing, to a point where you actually forget your own financial goals. Because she probably bought a smaller car when she bought her car for a specific reason. Either one, it could have been affordability, or two, maybe she wanted to use her money to other things. But now she's feeling under pressure, because now Umgani wants to buy a new car, and it's not an A to B type of car. So Nami, I must now buy a new car. Why? Why are you trying to keep up with other people? It means that your relationship with money is very fickle. It's very influenced by what is going on around you, but also it's influenced by your emotions, influenced by your ego. So there's quite a lot of stuff that comes into when you're talking about your relationship with money, your ego, what you are accustomed to. And sometimes you as a person need to identify those friends that are that way, so that you can move yourself from them, but also be able to identify this flaw in yourself. Because sometimes it's easy to look at the other person and say, but you as a person, do you make decisions based on what other people are able to do? And it's very important that you start asking yourself these questions, because it's going to be detrimental to the financial decisions that you make. And remember that if you've got your goalposts, and your goalposts are your financial goals, they will never get moved by anyone or anything, as long as you've got a solid relationship with your money.